This is Larry Sparano. Recently, at the Abington Community Library near Scranton, Pennsylvania, I had the opportunity to talk with Bob Spearing of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. He's a director of MUFON's international investigations. You might have seen him on various TV shows, such as the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, as well as other shows. Bob came to talk about UFOs. Are they real? And if so, just what are they? Are they alien craft? And if they are, why are they here? Here's Bob to explain.
I work for the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey for 35 years. I'm a licensed locomotive engineer. I'm a licensed, federally licensed rail traffic controller, which is like a two-dimensional air traffic controller. And I was also a safety specialist. I investigated railroad accidents in a forensic sense, which is the other thing that qualifies me to know what I'm talking about.
This evening. And Bob, what I was intrigued about is all of these revelations that have occurred over the years. There's been a lot of skepticism about it over the years, deep skepticism, ridicule by the media, but that seems to be changing now. And I think a lot of it has to do with the congressional hearings we've had recently. But my question is this like a controlled disclosure? Is it intentional, and is it real?
Okay, I actually have several thoughts on that. Why now is what I've heard some people say. For 80 years we've been tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, and all of a sudden the government is totally involved in the UFO phenomenon now.
And the tone has changed with the media.
Yes.
Even.
One of the things I think it has to do with could be a slow drip of disclosure. I also think it could be a slow drip of disinformation to lead us away, all right?
Yeah.
Also, some people, Werner von Braun predicted this in the 70s, that this might be about the weaponization of space, because is Starlink internet satellites, or is it really Operation Brilliant Pebbles from the Ronald Reagan Strategic Defense Initiative?
So the cover story is that it's UFOs?
That it could be UFOs. And the final thing is, all of a sudden now, private corporations funded by billionaires are getting involved in it. Is it because there's a lot of money to be made?
Yeah. You see, what makes me skeptical, I've been a reporter for decades, and I've been on the UFO thing since I was a kid, very interested in it. But what strikes me is, the sudden change of tone after all this disinformation, poo-pooing from the government from way back. Now, all of a sudden, the media is taking it more seriously, fewer smirks, and now these whistleblowers are coming forward. I mean, why are they even allowed to come forward? So, is there a plan afoot, and is any of this real?
Yeah, David Grush obviously is the main whistleblower, and he constantly talks about his life's in danger. Lou Elizondo talks about his life being in danger. He has to wear a bulletproof vest. But at the same time, David Grush is going in front of Congress. David Grush is going to private New York penthouse parties, talking about interdimensional crypt. If he's that worried about being offed, why is he still doing it? I tend to think that he may be a partial disinformation agent, and he may be dripping something that's a controlled release.
But beyond that, whatever the case is, you yourself are a serious investigator. You're not somebody who is fooled easily. You've talked about a number of cases that were deceptions or people mistaking things. But what is your basic belief? Are they out there, and what are they?
I believe that they are out there. I believe that the United States government already knows what they are, and I can't speak for MUFON because MUFON doesn't take any position on what the phenomenon or phenomena may be. My personal inclination is that it's got something to do with time travel. Okay, that whoever the agents are that have been visiting Earth for thousands of years, I believe they're trying to manipulate our history to go to a certain conclusion in the near future.
So you believe that the government does know about this and has known about it for decades?
I believe that that's absolutely correct.
So what's the overall plan here then? The government knows that they're real. So what's the government going to do about it, if anything, and why?
My personal opinion is that whatever the UFOs are, that the United States government not only knows what they are, but they're working with whoever they are, whether it's for resources, technology, private gain, or because it is some sort of time manipulation, all right, that the government is involved with to bring a preordained end to history somehow. I think that they're already in bed with whoever the visitors are.
Really? Now, is it just the U.S. government?
Well, I would say that yes, but there are, incidences and some of the mythology in ufology that the Russians may have access to something, that the Nazis certainly, it was plausible. Look at their rocket technology. All right, how far advanced we were. There was the supposed crash in 1938 in Germany. Werner von Braun, when asked about how he developed the V-2 rocket, he said, we had help. Who on earth would have been helping the Nazis with technology like that?
The more conventional story is that they literally got the blueprints from Robert H. Goddard, who was not, the military just dismissed the potential of liquid fuel rockets, but the Germans took it after the Treaty of Versailles, when they couldn't do anything really on the open. They could do it through rocket clubs. So that's a conventional explanation of what they built on, and not from aliens.
I have some sources that tell me that the United States was actually working on anti-gravity technology as far back as World War II, all right? When Tesla died, the FBI came in and took his safe. I mean, this was the guy that was working on, death rays and, alien communications. So I definitely think that there's something to it, and that our government is definitely knowledgeable of it.
Well, one thing I think is indisputable, if these sightings are correct, and a lot of them were simultaneous visual sightings by experts and on radar, all that. So if at least a portion of these sightings are true, the maneuvers reported could only be done through something beyond our conventional technology and public disclosure of physics. So it would be anti-gravity, wouldn't it?
It would, and also with Grush, with the interdimensional stuff. In 1952, when the incursion occurred over the course of 2 months over Washington, D.C., where we sent up our fighter jets and we couldn't get those UFOs that were over the Capitol building and over the White House because the technology was so far advanced than ours. What was going on that year? All right, that was the year that the United States tested the first hydrogen bomb, all right? So I think that was a calling card, whoever was visiting us in the skies over Washington, D.C. And I think that since then, maybe a relationship may have developed between them and our government and possibly other governments.
Well, there's also a story about Werner von Braun saying that there were going to be hoaxes in stages, and the final hoax would be an alien invasion.
That is correct.
What do you think of that?
I think it's absolutely true. Von Braun wrote a book, a novel called Project Mars in 1957 while he was stationed in New Mexico, and it's about the colonization of Mars and how we would do it. And he describes the government of Mars in chapter 28, and the leader of the Martian government would be called the Elon, okay? This is why I believe that Elon Musk, Werner von Braun, Operation Brilliant Pebbles from the Reagan Star Wars SDI, and Starlink are all interconnected. And that, not only that, there was the book written in the 1990s called Project Blue Beam.
Yeah.
That fellow met a mysterious end, and basically he echoed what von Braun said. There would be terrorist attacks, there'd be fear of asteroid collisions, there would be visions in people's heads, think Neuralink, and then it would be a fake alien invasion.
To what purpose?
New World Order.
Yeah, bring in a new world order. Now, also the reports that Eisenhower actually met with aliens, do you find that credible?
That's a very interesting question, because in MUFON's Project Aquarius library, in the papers of Captain Ruppelt, the first head of Project Blue Book, there's actually a typewritten memo from him inquiring if that story might be true. So Project Blue Book had an interest in the Eisenhower meets the alien story.
So again, I mean, the U.S. government, perhaps others, are already dealing with the aliens. They're making some kind of a deal with them. So ultimately, what's the purpose? Or what's the end result?
Well, if there really are elites in this world, and they want to depopulate the world, and they want to bring in a new world order, and they're working with extraterrestrials or time travelers or whatever, it's ultimately for control.
So this isn't necessarily a good thing.
I do not think it is at all a good thing.
Okay, I think that's a good ending.